The Helmets and Heels Sports Podcast may be girl talk, but it's also all about sports. If you want to hear some of the most fascinating sports talk around, tune in to Mia O'Brien, Taylor Dahl, and Lauren Brooks breaking it down every weekday from noon to 2 p.m. on the 92.5 FM Jax Sports Radio in Jacksonville, Florida. Helmets and Heels is the first all-female sports talk radio show in the United States. Our media team had the opportunity to sit down with these hosts to learn how they provide their listeners with a unique female perspective. Enjoy. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. So let's start with your personal story. How'd you first become passionate about sports broadcasting?
I was always very passionate about sports. When I was 15 years old, I did attend Iron Eagle, CBS and NBA broadcaster, and Bruce Beck's sports broadcasting camp. And at the end of the week, it was me and another camper of the 52 that they kind of took aside. They had us do teleprompter reads at NBA TV, actually meet with some executive producers there, and then, took us aside and said, these are two of our students who we think have gone above and beyond, who have a, future in this. I have always viewed myself not as just a host or not just as a reporter. I am a truly multimedia content producer, showrunner. You have to be a great teammate even if you're not physically playing a sport. Now when I look at where I am, where we do so many different things here at 1010XL, a big part of why we've had success here and why I've personally had success is because I did dabble in a lot of different things. And so that's my biggest advice. Right when you're in high school and college, shoot everything, learn how to work the camera.
What impact has the Gator Bowl had on the Jacksonville community in terms of contributing to the city's overall culture?
There's an extra excitement at the end of college football season in Jacksonville because of the Gator Bowl, and I think that's cool because obviously not every city has any bowl game at the end. The excitement leading up to it of which teams are going to be in the Gator Bowl, and obviously everything that impacts surrounding definitely has an effect on Jacksonville in general, but I think for Jacksonville to have its own thing and be able to look forward to that towards the end of the season every year is kind of cool. This year it's Clemson, and Clemson, obviously Trevor Lawrence, ETN, both came from Clemson, so there's a little extra attachment to the Gator Bowl this year when you come see players that you've kind of followed. So I think that's really cool because it adds an extra link to the city of Jacksonville.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your Helmets and Heels show?
Credit goes to Shad Khan, the owner of the Jaguars, who was a big proponent of having an all-female show on the flagship station of the Jaguars, the first of its kind. Helmets and Heels, it's a once-a-week show, so we get to have a little bit more fun with it. We get to look back on the biggest storylines of the week. We also get to talk a little bit more about our personal lives, about pop culture, more than perhaps some of the other shows. Last night, for example, kind of tying sports to our personal lives, Taylor, my co-host, she was talking about bringing her nephew, he's 3 years old, to his first Iceman game, which is our minor league hockey team here in Jacksonville over the weekend, and how he's 3 years old, but he loved the chanting and just doing the chants. He would do it by himself, and then all the people in the section around him rallied around him and started doing it, and he thought it was the coolest thing ever.
How do you know if Helmets and Heels has an impact on your listeners?
I think luckily for us and living in a world we are where social media is so prominent, and so you constantly get to kind of form these relationships with people who do listen, to hear that we're impacting the next generations coming up, so much so that the parents want to reach out to us and thank us. It's a big positive for me, and it's something that really stands out. We do have the choice to be able to do this now, and we've been able to have a lot of really cool experiences that women couldn't even 20, 30 years ago.
It's been so amazing and refreshing when we go out into the community and do live shows. Those male audience members bring their young daughters with them, and they say, hey, we make sure that we let our young daughter listen to you guys from 6 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday nights. That is so cool, and it's so foundational because now those young girls are growing up in a world in which it's normalized to hear women on sports talk radio, to see women in sports.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for taking your time to sit down and talk to me, and it was so nice to meet you.
Absolutely, nice meeting you too.